Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our deep dives into what's shaping America and the world. Today, we're unpacking a massive move by President Donald Trump, the Ukraine minerals deal signed on April 30th, 2025. It's a bold play, and it's got everyone talking. Is this Trump being a genius negotiator, making America great again? Or is it a risky bet that could stir up trouble? We're gonna look at this through Trump's eyes, a guy who loves a deal and wants the US to come out on top. We'll break down how he sees the world, from Europe to China to Russia, and ask some tough questions about his plan. So, grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's dive in. Let's start with who Trump is. He's a businessman turned president, a guy who thinks every problem can be solved with a handshake and a contract. His motto? America first. That means every move he makes, every tweet, every executive order, is about putting the US at the top of the heap. He's not here to play nice or follow the old playbook. He wants deals that make America richer, stronger, and more independent. The Ukraine minerals deal is classic Trump. He sees a chance to turn a messy situation, billions spent on Ukraine, into a win for the US. But to understand why he's doing this, we need to see the world the way he does. It's like a giant poker table, with countries like China, Russia, and the European Union all holding cards. Trump's goal? Stack the deck in America's favor. Let's break down how this deal fits into his big picture and what he thinks about the players around that table. Picture this. Trump walks into the White House in January 2025, and he's handed a bill. Not a small one, over $119 billion. That's how much the Biden administration poured into Ukraine from 2022 to 2024 to help fight Russia. Tanks, missiles, cash, you name it. For Trump, this is a sore spot. He's been saying for years that America's been footing the bill for other countries' problems. In his mind, those billions were spent with no clear payback. No contracts, no IOUs, just a big check to Kyiv. Trump's not the type to let that slide. He sees all that money as a sunk cost, a bad deal by Biden. But instead of writing it off, he wants to flip it into something that benefits America. That's where the Ukraine minerals deal comes in. Signed on April 30th, 2025, it's his way of saying, if we're going to help Ukraine, we're getting something out of it. So, what's the deal? It's called the U.S.-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund. Sounds fancy, but here's the simple version. Ukraine's got a ton of valuable minerals, lithium, graphite, titanium, stuff the U.S. needs for batteries, jets, and tech. The deal sets up a joint fund where both countries work together to mine and sell these minerals. The money goes to rebuilding Ukraine, which got wrecked by the war with Russia. In return, the U.S. gets first dibs on those minerals for its industries. Trump pushed hard for this. Early on, he wanted Ukraine to pay back the $119 billion, maybe even more. He threw out numbers like $500 billion, son. But after some tense talks, imagine Trump and Zelensky going at it in the Oval Office, they settled on a 50-50 partnership. No debt for Ukraine, just shared profits. For Trump, this is a win. He's not just giving aid, he's making a deal that could bring cash and resources back to America. Why is Trump so excited about minerals? Because America's industries are hungry for them. Lithium powers electric car batteries. Graphite's in everything from smartphones to missiles. Right now, China's got a chokehold on these supply chains, and Trump hates that. He sees the Ukraine deal as a way to break free, get what America needs, and stick it to Beijing. Plus, it's a chance to create jobs back home if U.S. companies get in on the mining action. But here's a question. Is this really about helping America, or is Trump just hyping it up? Mining in Ukraine could take 10, maybe 20 years to pay off. It's not a quick fix. And with Russia still causing trouble nearby, it's a risky bet. Trump's betting big, but will it deliver? To get why Trump made this deal, we got to step into his head and see how he views the world. For him, it's not about teamwork or global harmony. It's a competition. Every country, every organization is either helping America win or standing in the way. Let's break down how he sees the big players. The European Union, the United Nations, NATO, the World Economic Forum, China and Russia. Trump's never been a fan of the European Union. To him, the EU is a bunch of countries ganging up to push globalism, big trade deals, open borders, and rules that tie America's hands. He thinks the EU cares more about its own agenda than America's success. When he looks at Europe, he sees leaders who want to tell the US what to do, like how to handle trade or climate change. The Ukraine deal fits right into this. Ukraine wants to join the EU, and Trump knows that. But instead of letting Europe take the lead, he's jumping in with a deal that puts America first. By locking in access to Ukraine's minerals, he's making sure the US has a say in Ukraine's future, maybe even more than the EU. It's like he's saying, "You want Ukraine? Fine, but America's calling the shots here." Still, there's a catch. If Trump pushes too hard, he could tick off Europe. The EU's already poured billions into Ukraine, and they might not love the US swooping in to grab the best resources. Could this strain alliances? It's something to watch. Trump's got no love for the United Nations either. He sees it as a bloated, talkative club where countries lecture America while doing little themselves. Remember when he pulled the US out of WHO or UNESCO in his first term? That's Trump saying the UN doesn't get to boss the US around. In 2025, he's still skeptical. He picked Mike Waltz as UN ambassador, a loyalist who will push America's interests, not some global agenda. For Trump, the UN is a stage to show off US power, not a place to make friends. The Ukraine deal doesn't involve the UN directly, but it's a way for Trump to flex muscle without needing UN approval. He's like, why wait for a committee when I can make a deal myself? But here's a doubt. If Trump keeps sidelining the UN, will it weaken America's voice in global crises? The UN's not perfect, but it's still a place where deals get made. Ignoring it could backfire. NATO's a tricky one for Trump. He knows it's important. Nobody wants Russia or China running wild. But he's always griped that NATO's a bad deal for America. He thinks the US pays too much, about 3.5% of GDP on defense, while other countries like Germany skate by with less. His message? Pay your fair share or we're out. The Ukraine situation ties into this. Trump sees Ukraine's fight with Russia as proof that NATO's too slow and too dependent on the US. By making a direct deal with Ukraine, he's showing he can handle things without NATO's red tape. Plus, strengthening Ukraine with American cash and know-how might mean NATO doesn't have to step in as much. It's a way to keep Russia in check without footing the whole bill. But there's a risk. If Trump undercuts NATO, allies might start doubting America's commitment. And if Ukraine leans too hard on the US, it could complicate its NATO membership dreams. Is Trump playing chess or checkers here? The World Economic Forum, those folks in Davos talking about climate and equality, drives Trump nuts. To him, it's a bunch of rich elites plotting to control the world with their woke ideas. He thinks their focus on global problems, like green energy or social justice, hurts American workers and businesses. The Ukraine deal is Trump's way of saying, forget Davos. Instead of signing up for their big picture plans, he's cutting a deal that gets America resources and jobs. It's practical, not idealistic. He's betting that Americans care more about cheaper batteries than some global climate pact. But here's a question. Is Trump missing the bigger picture? The WEF pushes ideas that could help America in the long run, like sustainable tech. By dismissing it, he might be leaving opportunities on the table. If there's one country Trump's laser-focused on, it's China. He sees them as America's biggest threat, economically, militarily, you name it. China controls a ton of the world's minerals, like 70% of the cobalt market in Congo. That's a problem when America needs those same minerals for cars, phones, and weapons. The Ukraine deal is a direct shot at China. By securing access to Ukraine's lithium and graphite, Trump's trying to loosen China's grip on these supply chains. It's like he's saying, you want to dominate, not on my watch. He's also slapped tariffs on Chinese goods, some as high as 145%, to keep their products out of America. But it's not all smooth sailing. China's not just going to sit back. They're already pushing back with their own tariffs and deals in places like Africa. And if the Ukraine mines take years to produce, China could still have the upper hand. Is Trump's plan enough to outsmart Beijing? Russia's a different kind of challenge. Trump respects Putin's toughness, but sees him as a rival who needs to be kept in line. The Ukraine war is a sore spot. Russia's still holding parts of Ukraine, and Putin's not backing down. Trump's deal with Ukraine sends a clear message. America's got Ukraine's back, so don't get too comfortable. In Trump's mind, the deal does double duty. It helps Ukraine rebuild, making it stronger against Russia, and it gives the US a foothold right on Russia's doorstep. He's not looking for a fight. Trump's all about deals, not wars, but he wants Putin to know America's watching. Here's the tricky part. Russia's not happy. Putin's team called the deal exploitation, and they might push back, maybe even escalate the conflict. If that happens, Trump's plan could get messy fast. Is he ready for that? So how does Trump make a deal like this happen? He's got a playbook, and it's all about being tough, loud, and relentless. Trump always opens with a wild demand. He told Ukraine they owed $500 billion for past aid, way more than the actual $119 billion. It's a classic move. Scare the other side, then settle for something still in your favor. The final deal, a 50-50 partnership, looks reasonable compared to that crazy starting point. Trump's a master at spinning a story. He's pitching the Ukraine deal as a way to get our money back and make America richer. Never mind that the profits might take a decade or more. To his base, it's proof he's fighting for them, not some far-off country. Trump loves one-on-one deals. He'd rather negotiate with Zelensky than deal with the EU or NATO. The Ukraine deal is pure US Ukraine, no middleman. It gives him control and lets him bypass globalist groups he doesn't trust. The deal's not just about money, it's about power. By tying Ukraine closer to America, Trump's showing China and Russia who's boss. He's also reminding Europe that the US can move faster and smarter than their bureaucracy. But here's a worry. Trump's style, big demands, loud talk, can rub people the wrong way. If Ukraine feels pushed around, or if allies like the EU get sidelined, it could hurt America's standing. Is the deal worth the drama? Trump's got a vision, no doubt. He wants America to be the big dog in a tough world, and the Ukraine deal is a piece of that puzzle. But let's ask some hard questions. On paper, it's smart. America gets minerals, Ukraine gets rebuilt. But mining's not cheap or quick. It could cost $1 billion per mine, and profits might not show up for 15 years. Plus, with Russia still a threat, those mines could be at risk. What if the deal flops? Trump's all about America, but he needs friends. The EU's a big player in Ukraine, and NATO's got skin in the game. If he keeps acting like a lone wolf, he might push them away. Can America go it alone if things get rough? The deal's a jab at both Russia and China, but they're not gonna just take it. Russia could stir up trouble in Ukraine, and China's got deeper pockets for mineral deals elsewhere. Is Trump ready for the pushback? Trump's selling this as a home run for America. Jobs, resources, power. But if the costs pile up or the deal takes too long, will Americans buy it? And what if it looks like he's bullying a war-torn country like Ukraine? That could hurt his image. All right, folks, let's bring it home. Trump's Ukraine minerals deal is a perfect snapshot of how he sees the world. It's a place where America needs to fight for every advantage, whether it's against China's mineral monopoly, Russia's aggression, or Europe's globalist dreams. He's betting that a tough deal with Ukraine will make America richer and stronger, all while showing the world who's boss. But it's not a slam dunk. The deal's got big risks. Long timelines, high costs, and some seriously annoyed rivals. Trump's playing a high-stakes game, and we're all watching to see if he pulls it off. What do you think? Is this a genius move or a risky roll of the dice? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going. If you like this deep dive, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more breakdowns of what's shaping our world. Until next time, stay curious, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next video.